Hi friends, welcome back to Abby's Digital Nook. Today we're going to be talking all about the Kobo Libra Colour. So the Kobo Libra Colour is a great alternative to a Kindle or a different e-reader device that you may be wanting to switch over from. And I happen to have both the Kindle Basic in Matcha and also the Kobo Libra Colour 2. I purposefully wanted this one because it has so many features that the Kindle doesn't have, and a lot of the features that I really wanted in an e-reader device. There are other e-reader devices out there that can probably meet the needs of both the Kindle and the Kobo combined, which I've been discovering since joining like the e-reader journey. So I may even end up purchasing that later down the line and reviewing and giving my thoughts on that too. But as for now, I have a Kindle and I have a Kobo. So this video is going to be all about the Kobo and deciding whether you should switch or deciding whether you should purchase. I'm going to be talking about all the pros and I'm going to be talking about all the cons, and then we'll be talking about how I use it and what I use it for. So yeah, let's just get started with the Kobo. So I have done quite a few videos talking about different features of the Kobo already, and I will mention them as I go throughout this video, and also I'll link them down below so it's easy for you to find what you need. And I have a playlist too that is dedicated to the Kobo and all the things that I've discovered and figured out how to use and stuff. I kind of usually just make a video as I figure it out. First of all, the Kobo comes in black and white, and I have a skin. So I got a skin cover for it, which is pink. I'll show you guys. It's this super cute pink skin on the front. Then on the back, it's this cute, I call it a granny pattern because it just feels like really granny to me, granny chic. And then I just have some stickers from Bando in the back case. So that's how I've decorated my Kobo. I haven't changed my screensaver yet. I need to change that out, but that is also one of the features of the Kobo, is that you can have a screensaver and it stays there, it doesn't move away. So that's a good thing about the Kobo. One of the great features of this device is that you can use a pen with it. You can use a Kobo pen, but that Kobo pen, of course, is extremely expensive and unnecessarily extremely expensive. So there are alternative pens out there, and I actually purchased the Meta pen, which is a cheaper alternative to the Kobo pen that you can purchase, and it works exactly the same. And I've actually done an unboxing and review on that. So again, I'll link that down below so you guys can see like the functionality of that pen if you guys are interested in getting a pen to go along with your Kobo. And I highly suggest it because there are a lot of features that you can use with the pen and a lot of fun things you can do with a pen with the Kobo. So let's jump into the pros. I've got my list here, so I'm going to be reading from this. All right, number one, obviously the color e-ink display. It is in color. I wanted a Kobo Libra Colour because I wanted the color. So I obviously wanted to be able to read mangas, webtoons, graphic novels, and also like color PDFs. I want to highlight in color. Like there's many different reasons why I wanted color, but specifically I picked the Kobo Libra Colour because of two things. Number one, it has very wide format support. So with me saying I like to read mangas, comics, and all those things like graphic novels, a lot of them come in CBZ format, which is a file format that's commonly used for mangas, or CBZ or CBR format. And the Kobo can actually take that format directly into the device. So I don't have to convert anything from CBZ or CBR. I can just drop that file into my Kobo and it will read it. So that was one of the main things as well why I wanted the Kobo. And secondly, direct annotations. I am a type of person where I like to draw on my books, and I realized that I really shouldn't be defacing these books later down the line when I pass them down to whoever. They're going to be able to read all my inner thoughts, and obviously I wanted that for myself, to be able to read my inner thoughts from years prior, so I can be like, oh, this is what I was thinking when I read the book for the first time. So I like annotating directly on books. But then I was like, you know what, this is gonna live in the world forever, and unless someone burns the book, so I need to like keep my inner thoughts in a device. So that's why I wanted to be able to annotate directly on the book in the Kobo, which you can actually do. And I have demonstrated this in a previous video, so I will also link that down below and so you guys can see what that looks like when you're annotating, or I'll try and insert a video if I have the clip still. So you can annotate on your books. Any book that you've put on your Kobo that is a book, you can annotate on it. And that includes library books. You can annotate on library books. However, I found that I cannot annotate on mangas, graphic novels, webtoons, any picture book. for some reason I can't annotate on that, but I can annotate on an EPUB or a PDF or, you know, any other type of book format. A feature that really sold me as well were these page turn buttons. I wanted to be able to turn the page by going up and down. That's like the biggest thing for me. I just want to be able to just hold it comfortably in my hand like this and go down the page. So the page turn buttons was one of the things I wanted. And of course, when I was looking into purchasing an e-reader, it was around the time that Kindle was phasing out the Kindle Oasis. And that was the one I was looking at the most because I wanted the buttons. But then of course I wanted color. So I was like stuck between what ecosystem I wanted to lock myself into. And I ended up obviously going with the Kindle Basic and was like, oh, I'll sacrifice color. And then I ended up getting a Kobo Libra Colour for Christmas. And so I now have the best of both worlds. Another pro of the Kobo, it has something called Adjustable Comfort Light Pro. And so what that does is it automatically adjusts the lighting based off of where you are. This is something you can turn it off as well, but it automatically adjusts to what they think is best for your eyes. And you can also have like a timer setting on it. So like you can set your nighttime to be at like 8 p.m. So at like 8 p.m. I want it to automatically switch to like the lowest light setting or the highest light setting or whatever it is that you want to do. You can set up those parameters, and I think that's really good. So I just thought that was a really cool feature. Is it something that I use that much? Not really, but it is a pro for that. It is a pro for that device. Another pro, there are no ads. There are no ads. So obviously on the Kindle, there are ads in your face all day, every day. And I talked about this in a previous video where I was saying like the things I don't like about the Kindle and things I don't like about the Kobo as well. But one of the main things I didn't like about the Kindle was the ads. Like that really irritated me, and you have to pay money. But anyway, this is not a Kindle video. This is a Kobo video. There's no ads on this device. You can just freely scroll through your content on your own without having Kobo say you should buy this book. Now, there are suggestions. So if you go to the Kobo store, obviously they're going to suggest books to you. Those are technically ads, but you don't have like ads popping up like on your home screen or on your lock screen. So that is a true pro to the Kobo. Another great feature that the Kobo has is landscape mode. So for example, here's my book in regular mode, in portrait mode, and if I just tap the screen here, hit this little lock, switch it to landscape, then I can read like this. Oh, I can read like this, which is also quite nice. And you can just tap your buttons this way, or you can set it to auto rotate. So let's say I can hold it like this and the buttons are at the bottom too. So I can be like, oh, next page, next page. For reading a book that like opens like this, it's kind of a cool feature, but the screen really isn't big enough for you to be doing 2 pages at a time on here. So I wouldn't recommend using the landscape mode, but if that's more comfortable for your hands to hold it in landscape mode, because you like to hold like a wider tablet, then have at it. I personally like portrait mode, well, specifically because I read a lot of manga and webtoons on here, and especially if I'm reading webtoons, it's in vertical format, so the pages scroll up and down and not left to right, so it just feels more natural to be holding it in portrait mode and then pushing the down button as I'm going through the webtoon. All right, so now let's talk about the library and storage capabilities. So I know one of the biggest things that people like to go to the Kobo for is because it has Overdrive built in. So apparently if you're not in the US, you cannot access Libby like through a Kindle, and a Kobo is like the only device that you can truly like access Libby/Overdrive very easily. So that's why a lot of people outside of the US lean towards the Kobo over the Kindle. I will say a pro for the Kobo is having Overdrive built in. That is a pro. It's very easy to grab a specific book and borrow it and it's on your device immediately. Like that's great. However, I will go into this a little bit more in the cons list, but you know, it's not the best user interface. So it is a pro that is built in. However, there's a couple things that I don't like about it, and I will talk about it more when I get to the cons list, but it is good that it is built in. That's really like easy for you. And if you're outside of the US, then yeah, it's a good feature. So I will talk about that more when we get to the cons, but let's continue with the pros. Another pro is that you have the Kobo Plus subscription, which is very similar to Kindle Unlimited. So although Kindle Unlimited is extremely robust and there's so many indie authors, so many books that you can borrow and read from people you probably never would have read from before, which is exactly me. I have a Kindle Unlimited subscription and I read books from authors I've never ever heard of before that are not in the best list, are not recommended to me by TikTok. They're all just like books that Amazon has suggested that they think I'll like based off of other books that I've read. And I really enjoy discovering new books. And so that is something that I thoroughly enjoy from Kindle Unlimited. And Kobo Plus doesn't have enough indie authors, in my opinion. It doesn't have enough books that are in my genre that I prefer to read, and it only kind of has like the most popular books, and I like to read books that aren't necessarily the most popular but fits the storyline that I really enjoy reading. So yeah, a lot of Amazon exclusive or Amazon Kindle Unlimited authors are not on Kobo, so you're going to be missing out on hundreds of thousands of books that would be on Kindle because you can't get them on the Kobo. But there's other ways to get books, so I won't go into that. So there is an option for you if you just don't want to have Kindle Unlimited anymore and you want an alternative. Kobo Plus is an option. I wouldn't say it's the best option, but it's an option. Another great feature is that it has Dropbox and Google Drive integrated into the device. So it looks like this. So you'll be able to log into your Dropbox and log into your Google Drive directly through the device, which is great. This means that if you have a lot of EPUBs, PDFs, documents, just things that you maybe want to mark up, just any type of book, textbooks, whatever that you have in your Google Drive, or even like something like an essay or something like that you have in your Google Drive, you can just save it to your drive and it will automatically sync to your Kobo, and you can open it directly in your Kobo, which is a really cool feature. I mean, not for me because I don't really need that feature, but for students, for people who maybe they're a lawyer and they want to read a lot of like documents that have been sent, like forms that clients have filled out, like stuff like that. That's a really great feature for people who like to read documents, PDFs, all that kind of stuff. And EPUBs. You can just drop your EPUBs in your Google Drive or your Dropbox and just open it up on your Kobo directly. Just is wirelessly synced. So that's a really, really great integration. Another integration that is a pro, but also a con, but we're only talking about pros right now. So another integration that's a pro is the Pocket integration. So it's an app called Pocket. I think it's called Pocket FM, and you can access it on the web. You can access it through a separate app as well, like on your phone or something like that. And what it essentially does is you go to like websites that you like and you hit save to my Pocket, and it will save that web page like as a link, or it might save like a readable version of that web page directly to your Pocket. And then when you go onto your Kobo and you're logged in, you can read that web page on your Kobo very easily. So that is a pro feature if you only like to read from very specific websites. Like, I don't even know. I haven't found a website yet that I like to use that works. Let's just put it that way. And I'll get into that more in the cons. But you can find a lot of websites that work. They're just not stuff I would go on, but it supposedly works. So that's a pro. Okay, storage. It has 32 gigs of storage, which is great if you have a large book collection of books. Only books and just books. Like I'm saying, like books, maybe a couple PDFs, but let's just say they're all books or EPUBs. Books in like EPUB format or some other type of regular book format. Now, if you're going into other stuff like Webtoons, CBZ files, big files, we're talking mangas that are very heavy in size. That's me. I'm that person, okay? I have 32 gigs on this Kobo, but I've already used up 11 gigs. And that is from me having Webtoons on there, graphic novels, CBZ files, several series of books I have on this device. And I've used up half of my storage already, which is more than what would even fit on my Kindle. My Kindle only has, I believe, it's a 16 gigabyte. Kindle is 16 gigabytes, but after like system storage, you're only left with 11. And that means if I'd put all these books that I've put that are just Webtoons, because I don't have any regular books on my Kobo right now. I only have Webtoons and graphic novels. If I'd put all of those on my Kindle will be full and I wouldn't have any space to put any regular books on there at all. So that is something that was kind of important for me to make sure I had more storage, but it's still not enough storage because those are only books that I've been reading over the past couple months. It's not even my entire library of books that I plan to get in the future. future, or maybe older books that I want to, or older webtoons or older mangas that I want to have. So my solution for that is I have to just remove ones I've read off of the device. But ideally, I would like to have a storage solution that is permanent and I never have to move it off of the device ever again. And I have been looking into other devices that have expandable storage, such as the Books, Boox, and they have a color device that has expandable storage that I've been thinking about getting as well. So if I do get it, I will for sure review it, talk about it, pros and cons, all the things that I've done for the Kindle and all the things I'm doing for the Kobo. I like to make sure I truly make use of a device that I have and learn everything I can about it, and then I'll discuss it on here. So I just thought I would talk about all those things. And then a couple extra features that I've discovered after having the Kobo for a couple months. So Bluetooth keyboard support. You can use a Bluetooth keyboard and annotate your notes using a keyboard as well as annotating with a pen. So I have done a video on this and I'll link that down below, your Bluetooth keyboard support video. So you can see how to attach to a Bluetooth keyboard, how well it works, and what you can, all the different things you can use the Bluetooth keyboard for. It can even be used as kind of like a page turn as well. So it's really cool. So yeah, check out that video that I already made previously where I showed you guys step by step like how to connect and how to use it. So that's a great feature, actually a very great feature. It has Bluetooth audio, but okay, so it has Bluetooth audio. You can listen to audiobooks directly from the Kobo store that you may have purchased from Kobo. I haven't figured out yet how to get other audiobooks that are not from Kobo onto the device and playable. I'm sure there's a way, but I will figure it out eventually, and when I do, I'll make a video. And if it's not doable, I'll still like let you guys know that it's not doable. As of right now, I have no clue. I've tried a couple different methods and they haven't worked. So as far as I know right now, you can only listen to audiobooks that are directly from the Kobo store. So you can connect a Bluetooth headphones to it or a Bluetooth speaker. I have a Bose soundbar that I use to listen to a lot of my books from my Kindle, and also using assistive reader on the Kindle, but the Kobo doesn't have assistive reader, so you can only listen to audiobooks, and I don't really have any audiobooks on the Kobo, so there's that. Another great feature, which I showed you guys already, is obviously the fact that you can put a custom screensaver, and it's actually a custom screensaver. Like, it's not like on the Kindle where we have to use a book cover and then it takes away, like every time you switch the book, it changes the book cover, it changes the screensaver. So this is actually a screensaver. Like, I went into the file format, into the Kobo Drive, and dropped in my picture of what I wanted as my screensaver, and it's saved as a screensaver, and no matter what I do, that's my screensaver unless I switch it out. And so I have showed you guys in another video how to swap out your screensaver, so if you guys want to learn how to do that, I'll link that down below. Okay, and then also another great feature is that it is a waterproof design. It's supposedly waterproof. I haven't tested it, and I'm not going to test it. I'm not going to dip my Kobo in a pool. I'm not going to pour it under the sink. I'm not going to drop it in the ocean. I'm not doing any of those things to test to see if it actually really is waterproof. I'm going to just take their word for it and go with the fact that it's waterproof and keep it away from water. All right, so that was all the pros of the Kobo that I have experienced so far. I'm sure there are more, but those are just things that I've discovered and thought that I really liked since getting the Kobo, and I've had it for 2 months. So now let's get into the cons. Let's talk about all the things I do not like. Now, I have done a video on this a couple days ago where I talked about things I don't like about the Kobo, but I only touched on a couple things. This video, I'm going to talk about everything that I don't like about the Kobo specifically. So let's start with the software and the navigation issues. So annotations, okay? Yes, you can annotate. Annotating on here is fun, and you can do a lot of cool things with it. You can draw on it, you can add little doodles, you can highlight, whatever. That's the good part, right? But the bad part is that if I want to take those annotations and put them somewhere else outside of the Kobo, let's say I want it to be like, I want to post it on social media or something, right? Let's say I want to post that page on social media. So for me to be able to take that page that I've annotated on, put it this way, Kobo saves all of your annotations in a couple different formats collectively. So first of all, if you highlight on a page, it's going to save that single page as an image with the highlights on the page, right? That's it. It will be one page with all your highlights from that single page. That's one file. Then if you've also annotated on top of that, like added doodles, drawings, whatever, it saves a separate file with just those doodles, drawings with a transparent background. So nothing else is on it. It's just your doodles, like a blank doodle page. So what you'll actually have to do, actually, I don't even think it's a transparent background. I think it's a white background, and I don't remember. But either way, it saves your annotations and it saves your highlights separate, okay? 2 separate files, and those files are not in order. Like, let's say you did like 6 pages in a row. Those 6 pages are not labeled. Like, it's not like, this is the book that you did it from and this is the page number. They're just like file names with like 1,000 numbers, and you just have to remember it based off of the date and time that you annotated and piece it together yourself. So you're gonna need to go into Photoshop or go into some kind of photo app, or maybe Procreate on your iPad or something like that, and take those files, layer them on top of each other, and then organize them into the same order of the book. I know, it's so much work. So yes, your annotations are saved, like your drawing annotations are saved, but it's so much work to keep it like in a nice structured format. And I am a stickler for organized structured formats on my devices, and having to do that, although it's something that comes second nature and easy for me because I'm a designer, someone who's not a designer, who has no clue, like they're gonna just like plug in your Kobo to your computer and open up the files and just see a bunch of files that, and they're gonna be like, what the hell am I supposed to do with this? It's gonna be so confusing to you. And I think that is a big con. I think that there's no reason why they cannot save these files to a cloud, send it to your Kobo cloud or something, and keep everything together. Like, why are you giving us photo files that we need to piece together in Photoshop? I just think that's absolutely insane. And that's just something I've discovered from using it. If there is a method out there that can save your annotations and your highlights in one page as a picture in order with the book title and all the stuff that you need, and you know that method, please, I beg you, please put it in the comments and tell me how, because I am currently saving all of my annotations as images and piecing them together, and it's a task. So that's the first problem. Number 2, your annotations on your book can disappear. So when I say disappear, I mean like if I was to write on a page, like let's say I highlight and annotate on a book, and I've set my, okay, let's put it this way. If I set my screen to the perfect size where I have enough gap in between each line so that I can annotate in between and write my little doodles or whatever. Let's say I've written all that stuff that I want, I've annotated it, and then I'm like, you know what, I want the size to be just a little bit smaller. I could get this text to be tighter, but bear in mind, you've already annotated on this page. If I adjust the sizing or the spacing or anything on the page, and I'm talking anything like zooming in, zooming out, anything like that, all of my annotations are going to disappear and turn into a highlight box. So it will now take all those annotations, put it into a little box, and then it'll be like a screenshot of what I previously did, and the page is refreshed, and I have to annotate all over again. So that applies for the entire book. So whatever you set the book at when you start annotating, and then you make any changes later down the line in terms of like viewing, all your annotations are going to be gone and turned into highlights. Now you can still access those highlights, but it's the same method that I mentioned before. You got to like piece crap together, and it's so annoying. But do not change your page layout or structure after you've started annotating, because all your hard work of annotating is going to be gone into little highlight boxes. It's so annoying. So I'm going to show you guys just so you guys can understand what I mean, because you probably wouldn't even be able to like visualize what I'm saying. Oh, my pen is dead. I need to charge it a little bit. Let's do that. When I just plug this in for a few minutes because it's basically dead. It's dead. So we're just charging it up for a couple minutes. But all right, so I'll get back to that at the end. So I'm gonna show you guys, but I'll do it at the end because my Meta pen needs some charging, okay? So let's just continue with the cons. All right, so continuing with annotations, you cannot annotate, or maybe you can, but I can't on mine, and it could be because I sideloaded all of mine, but I cannot annotate on mangas or comics or any type of webtoon that I've put on there. Like all the picture heavy books that I've brought onto the Kobo, I can't draw or annotate on it. Actually, I can annotate mangas that I have converted from the Kindle. So I have a couple mangas that I purchased from Kindle, and then I converted them over to EPUB and put them onto the Kobo. Those ones I can actually annotate on top top of, but the ones that I have sideloaded in CBZ formats, I cannot annotate on those. So you can annotate on EPUBs, but you can't annotate on CBZ files. From what I've seen, maybe it's just my device. Other people, if you guys can on yours, then also put that in the comments so we all know, like, let's share this information. All right, continuing. Let me get some coffee. Okay, continuing. Library filtering. So let's talk about the Overdrive integration, okay? So as I mentioned, it's great that Overdrive is connected. That's a great feature. I think that's a wonderful feature to have for the Kobo. There's no filter option inside of Overdrive, sorry. So for example, this is Overdrive. I'm currently logged into my New York Public Library. So I can hit buy now or borrow with Overdrive, right? But if I'm like, oh, I want to just see like some similar books that are with Overdrive, okay, sure. Here are some similar books, but now I can't filter how many out of these similar books are available for me to borrow. I have no clue. I have to go through each one and see if it's available. It's freaking nightmare. Okay, it's so stressful, honestly. Like, if you're using the Libby app instead of the Overdrive integration, on the Libby app, I'll show you on my phone actually, so you guys understand what I mean. I can go on it and I can just be like, okay, I want to see all the books. All right, let's see right now. My phone this is an old phone, so it's not like the best lighting, but let's say I want to find something that's available right now. I can say, show me all books that are available right now. So I have available now. What's available? Okay, out of these books, how can I find books that are in the romance category? I can just tap romance right there. Okay, I'll tap romance. Now, out of this romance category, I can say, I want all books that are English. Okay, English. Then I can say, out of these romance books, I want to select something that is maybe fantasy. All right, I'm gonna hit fantasy. Let's filter down all of these titles for me. I'll hit show all these titles. All right, now I can see everything that's available now in fantasy, romance, and is in English. Okay, and it's sorted by the most popular. I can just hit borrow, 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 okay? That is what I mean by not being able to filter out and find what you need. In the Kobo app, you cannot do anything even close to that functionality that you can do in the app. So yes, getting Overdrive Libby integration attached to your Kobo integrated is great, but it's also not. Like, you're better off using the app. Let's be real, you're better off using the app than you are using it on the Kobo. When people say like, oh, the Overdrive is like a selling point for them to be able to find books, no, it's not. It's really not like user-friendly or like the best solution. It takes almost 3 times as long to find books using the Overdrive integration than it does using the Libby app. So that is a con for me, and it may not even be an issue for you. You may not have any problems with it, and it might not bother you in any way, shape, or form finding books directly. But for me, I think that's a big con, and I need to be able to filter, find what I need, see what's available now, all those kind of things. That's more important for me, and using the app to get my book is the best solution. So for me, I don't search using Overdrive. I'll find everything through the Libby app, then I will just log in on here, and then it will automatically sync and download to my device. So I never search using Overdrive. It's always the Libby app. So that's a con for me, but again, it's also a pro. Like I said, it's a pro and a con to have Overdrive automatically linked in. Continuing. Another con for the Overdrive integration is that you cannot log into multiple libraries at the same time. Obviously, with the Libby app, you can have multiple library cards all into your one account. With your Overdrive account, you can only have one account logged in at a time. But to be honest, it really doesn't matter to me, because when you're logged in, you can just download the books that you have synced to, like anything that you've borrowed. You can just sync it to your device immediately, and then log out, log back into the other one and sync all those books, and really don't have to log in and log out again until you're ready to get new books. The solution to that is doing everything through the Libby app and then only logging in to sync the books, and those books will stay on your device until the loan is over. So let's say you have a loan for 25 days. That 25-day period is over, the book's gonna be gone. They're gonna take it from your device. It's automatic, so it's fine. Oh yeah, so let's talk about the Pocket integration. I mentioned before how it was good that you could connect Pocket to your device and it's synced automatically. However, so I'm someone, like I said, I like to read mangas, I like to read webtoons, I like to read graphic novels. I like to read a lot of books that are on websites websites as well are not just like downloaded to a device. So for example, if I want to go on webtoon.com and read one of my webtoons, or one of my other websites that I like to read webtoons on that I will not be mentioning the name of, but let's just say there's another website that I like to read webtoons on that I can read all webtoons on through the web, and I can access that through obviously a phone, I can access it through an iPad, I can access it through another device, but obviously me scrolling up is very tiresome, and I like using the buttons on my Kobo. I like to just tap the button because it's just so much easier for my hands, so much easier for my comfort level while reading. So I tested it. I was like, okay, can I access this web page that I frequently visit on my iPad or on my phone? Can I access this on the Kobo if I link that page to my Pocket app? And no, you can't link pretty much any web page through the Pocket app. What it does is it does save to the Pocket app, but it doesn't sync to the Kobo. So if you have the Pocket app on the web, you can like go into the Pocket app on the web, but there's no reason for you to do that. But when it comes to like other websites that are not like, I don't know, New York Times or something like that, you really cannot download anything to your device using the Pocket integration. I feel like the Pocket integration is useless because there really hasn't been any website that I've tried that I actually use frequently that I can save to my device. So I just feel like it's just a useless app integration if you can't attach every single website that's in your Pocket. Like, why would you only have some and not all? Like, you can access it through the app on the Pocket, but you can't access it on the Kobo. I don't see the reason why not. So that I thought was a big con. Like, you're promoting the Pocket as a big like feature where you can save pages, but you really can't save any pages. Like, all the pages I've tried don't work. So, but that's just me. If you have been able to access like pages that have books on it, like Webtoons or things like that, then you let me know because I can't do it. So like, ideally, it was going to be my workaround for the terrible browser that they have, which also doesn't allow you to access webtoon.com. Like, it doesn't load the whole page. It loads some of it, but then as soon as JavaScript starts like loading, because they have like animated scrolling like sections off the page. So when they're like highlighting, oh, this book, then it swipes and then this book. So when things like that are on a page, the Kobo kind of melts down and it stops loading. So you can't even access anything. And then also you can't log in. So if you can't log in, you can't read the books you were reading and you can't pick up where you left off. So it's also useless. So that's another feature that I dislike and also a con. Okay, so let's talk about the customization limits. Oh, actually, before we jump into customization, let's go back to where I was talking about the annotations. Okay, highlighted. Now I'm gonna just kind of write in between the pages. Okay, so this is me just scribbling in between the pages so you guys can see. All right, so now if I decide I want to change the format of this book, so if I go here and I want my line spacing to be smaller like this, all right, my annotations and things are gone. If I want to see my previous annotations, it turns it into this little box here, and I have to tap this, and then it just shows me like a preview of what I wrote before in the old version. Yeah, that's annoying. I just wanted to show that to you guys so you guys knew that. It, rather than like scaling my drawing down and moving it around, it just thinks a better solution is to just remove it automatically. So I thought that was a very big con. But the solution is to do not change your screen layout or format midway through your book. All right, so let's talk about the UI and the customization limits. So the cover view doesn't show the titles of the book. So I'm gonna show you guys. Okay, for example, here are some graphic novels and things that I have on my Kobo. It shows you the cover of the book, but it does not show the title of the book. So if you cannot remember the title of the book, you have to just go based off of the cover and hopefully you remember it. So that's not like a huge deal, but I don't know. I just like to have the cover of the book and the name of the book underneath it. I don't want to know the percentage of how much I've read. I don't care how much of it I've read, to be honest. Like, just tell me whether I've read it or I haven't. I will figure that out when I open the book. I would rather it say the book name. Now, is this something that can be changed to display the title underneath? I don't know. I haven't figured that out. So if it is, then please let me know in the comments because I don't know how to change it. It just shows me whether it's read, unread, or the percentage. So So because of that, because I haven't figured that out, I'm gonna put it in my cons list. I forgot to mention was that you can organize your books into collections. So that is a good thing, that you can keep your books organized. I've created collections to separate my mangas, my webtoons, my regular books, my EPUBs, my PDF files. Like, they all have their own collection. And then if you have like books in a series, it doesn't really group it together. So I've made collections for series as well. So that is probably the best way to organize your books on your Kobo, if you have all different file types, for me anyway. But yeah, I feel like that's a really good feature. But it is available in other devices as well, collections. So I don't really have anything bad to say about collections. I think that that's a much needed feature, and I forgot to mention it in the pros list. All right, but continuing with performance issues. Zooming in is a little bit laggy. Zooming in and out, it can like just be a little bit laggy. I will demonstrate so you guys can understand what I mean. So I'm gonna open up a EPUB and a manga. I'm gonna open up a manga. So this is what a manga looks like. This is an example. This is a really popular one, 365 Days to the Wedding. So this is what it looks like on the page. Let's say I want to just like zoom in. It's like this, 2 fingers. Oh, it's so laggy. Oh my God. Okay, I'm stuck. All right, so they have a zoom in feature where you can use 2 fingers and go like this to zoom in, but it's really slow. Doesn't always work. I can double tap. Oh, never mind. I can double tap. Okay, there we go. See, like, it's just so like awkward to like zoom in, zoom out, and then when you're in, you're like kind of stuck there. You can't like move around the page very well. So here we go. It's just really laggy and slow, but I mean, I don't expect it to be as fast as an iPad. So, you know, it's a cool feature to be able to zoom in like this, but at the same time, it's just the lagging really gets to me sometimes. You do have the option of hitting this button up here. If you hit that, then you can just use like this bar and zoom in like this, but it's slow. Oh, yeah. It's a little bit laggy. So I just wanted to show that to you guys so you guys like had an idea of what I meant by slow and laggy. It's not like immediate, like when I'm on the iPad, if I touch it, it's moving along with my finger. It's not behind. Okay, another con is that it is still DRM locked. A lot of your books are still DRM locked that you get from the Kobo store. So I know a lot of people are considering moving to the Kobo because they're like, oh, I want my books to not be limited with a DRM. I should be able to read it on any device I like. Well, newsflash, your Kobo books also have a DRM protection on it, along with all the other ebook companies out there like Barnes & Noble's, Nook, same thing. So whatever method you were going to have to do with your Kindle books to convert them and strip the DRM and convert them to a different format like an EPUB, you still have to do the exact same method for the Kobo. However, it is easier to convert the books to a different format from a Kobo than it is to convert Kindle books. Kindle books have an even tighter DRM than the Kobo, but they still both have DRM lock on majority of the books. Now there is a section on the Kobo website that you can get DRM free books. So they are a lot more intuitive to our needs, and they have provided us with a bunch of books that do not have the DRM on it already. So you can purchase from those, but there's not that many books. I mean, there's not that many books on Kobo already, but there's even less books that are DRM free. So regardless what book you're getting from the Kobo store, you're gonna have to strip the DRM and convert it into a file format so that you can put it on across your devices. And I've converted a lot of my books. I have mostly EPUB for almost everything. There are, over the past couple months, I did get a ton of books from the Kindle store, so those I haven't converted yet, but I do need to do that. I think I got like around 100 books when there was like a free Kindle day or stuff for Kindle day, and I need to take all those books and convert all of them, but that's a task that I will do at another time. But yeah, Kobo is the same when it comes to DRM lock. It's just gonna be harder on a Kindle. Kobo, you should be able to strip it easier using whatever apps you want to use. But just remember, you are still locked into Kobo, just like you are still locked into Kindle. All right, another con is that there's no wired headphone support. I said this in a previous video. I don't know why they want us to use Bluetooth. Why do they want us to constantly have these Bluetooth signals constantly in our brains? I'm just saying it like, I prefer, okay, we're getting like wireless signals constantly all the time anyway, but I just don't really like using Bluetooth often, and I don't like charging my headphones. I don't like charging devices. I just want, if I want to hear something really fast, plug it in and go. That's what I want. And this device doesn't have it, the Kindle doesn't have it, but I think that's a miss. They have a USB-C port. They have a USB-C port, and I have USB-C Apple headphones. I should be able to plug it in and go, just like I can plug it into my Android phone, I can plug it into my iPhone and use them for headphones. I should be able to plug it into my Kobo and plug it into my Kindle, but alas, they do not care about audio, because obviously their main feature is reading, and they're like, well, if you want to listen to something, then go use your phone. So, but to me, that's a con, so I'm putting it on my con list. And then again, they have no assistive reader, so I like to listen to assistive reader on a regular basis. I've mentioned this before. I like to do immersive reading. I like to read while listening. That is something that Kindle does very, very, very well through their Kindle app. Their actual Kindle physical device, not so well. They have an assistive reader, but it sounds okay. It's not like as clean and crisp as the assistive reader on the phone, but it will do if you don't have any other option, and it's not as bad as a robot sounding voice. It sounds like a human, but just like a very monotone human. So it's okay, but I think that they do fantastic with their Android app assistive reader. On the Kindle, I use that daily. I use it while I'm driving in the car. I use it when I'm sitting at work and I'm multitasking. I want to hear my Kindle book. So that is something Kindle does fantastically well, is accessibility features. And Kobo doesn't have any accessibility features. They don't have assistive reader. They don't have speech to text. So I think that is a very big con, and I don't know why they don't have it. They should have it. It's very important, I think, for all e-readers to have an assistive reader, especially if you're hard of seeing, and also for kids love to read and listen at the same time. It's just, there's so many reasons to have assistive reader, and Kobo does not care. They don't care at all. So you don't have that feature in the Kobo, and if that's something that's important to you, it is important to me, then I would highly recommend that you don't get the Kobo, just saying. But again, like I said, I have two devices, so it doesn't matter in my instance for having assistive reader on the Kobo, because I have the Kindle and I have all those books through Kindle that I listen to, and I don't really listen to books on the Kobo. I just read mangas and webtoons on there. But if I was using it as my device for reading books and I wanted to have the option of listening to it as well, and I don't want to purchase an audiobook, then you're definitely going to miss out on having the accessibility feature. So I just thought I'd put that out there. And then the very last thing that I would talk about is that I cannot borrow audiobooks from Libby Overdrive integration. So you can borrow audiobooks from Libby app and it will be in your Libby app, but you can't borrow books in your Kobo that are audiobooks and put them into your device from Libby. So that also is a miss. I think that considering that they're integrated into the device, I should be able to just listen to it on the device, same way I can read the book on the device. I should be able to listen to my audiobooks from the Overdrive and listen to it directly in the Kobo, but it's not a feature that's available. You have to go into the Libby app to listen to all of your rented, borrowed library audiobooks. So that is my full pros and cons list that is so robust of the Kobo Libra Colour. Hopefully this list gave you a very good indication of what the Kobo features are like, and this is just my personal experience with it. Everything I've done and used and tested so far on the Kobo, I could test a lot more, and I'm still learning about the device, but this is just after 2 months of using it, everything that I found, all the problems that I faced, all the things I wanted to be able to do and determine whether I could do it or not. And I'm just sharing that knowledge with you guys. There's obviously more stuff that you could probably do with the Kobo, but like I said, I'm still learning and I'm gonna figure it out eventually. Then I just wanted to say let's just quickly talk about how I use my Kobo and what I use it for. As I mentioned, I like to use it for reading webtoons, reading mangas, and reading any type of graphic novel. And a lot of people have asked me oh, where do I get my mangas, where do I get my webtoons, where do I get all of my visual books. And so the workflow that I do to put them on here is I will download an entire webtoon series. There are websites where you can download an entire finished webtoon series, so I will not tell you those websites. I hope that you would take it upon yourself to research and look up websites that you feel you're comfortable with downloading from, because I don't want to give you guys any websites that may like be kind of shady or something, because there are some shady websites out there. So you can do a Google search and just type in like read manga online, read webtoons online, you know, just look up those websites. There's tons of them. Once you've done that, then you'll need to download an entire series, or even half a series, or whatever, however many books that you want to download, or however many chapters you want to download from that series. And based on the website, it will tell you whether you can download it or not. You know, you'll have to like, again, navigate and research that yourself. Once you've got those downloads, it will download into like a folder structure, and they'll be kind of like JPEGs that are like running. So if it's a webtoons are in vertical format, so it will be like comic strips, and it will download into like JPEGs or PNGs or like the web or whatever it's called format, and it will be into a folder structure. Once you have that, then what you'll need to do is use an app called Kindle Comic Converter. That is a different third-party app, which again, it's up to you whether you download this, because it's a third-party app and installing that on your machine is up to you. I wouldn't say it's like, I can't guarantee its safety. I haven't had any issues with it. I don't know if it's actually like super safe or not, but I haven't had any issues. I've had no viruses. I haven't had any issues, but it's called Kindle Comic Converter. And like I said, use your own judgment and your own choice whether you want to download it or not. This app will allow you to convert any digital comics, digital books into a format that fits whatever device that you have. So if I have an EPUB or some kind of manga book, and I want to convert that manga book into the size that fits perfectly for my Kobo, then I can drop that file into there, and it will convert it to the Kobo format size. So after I've got all those files from the webtoon that I want to download, then I will drop it into Kindle Comic Converter, and I'll set it to be in vertical scrolling and sized for the Kobo, and then that will automatically turn it into a file format that is good for the Kobo. And you can choose EPUB, you can choose whatever, but I choose CBZ because it doesn't take away anything or mess with the formatting. So I choose CBZ, and then I take that CBZ file and put it directly into my Kobo I can do it through Calibre. Either one works perfectly fine, and I drop it in. Now, it does take away the cover. It doesn't create a cover for it because CBZ files don't save covers. So then you have to get a separate plugin for Calibre to add the covers for your webtoons. And so you just find the cover online and just drop the image, and then it will save the cover. So I'll show you guys like an example of a webtoon and what it looks like on here, just so you guys understand what I mean. A webtoon that I got recently that is a really good webtoon. I think it's still ongoing, it's not finished, so I just downloaded like the chapters up to now, and it's called Endless Summer. And so this is what it looks like on the device. So it's formatted to the size of the Kobo, and I can just hit the down button and go down and see like each episode, and it's been formatted and sized perfectly to fit. And it's in vertical format, so imagine it as a very long comic strip, and this will be considered the up button, this will be considered the down button. Instead of scrolling or swiping, I can just tap the button, and as I go through like each page, it just continues the strip down, up, down. So like that's a feature that I thoroughly enjoy using on here. I think it's great. I love seeing the pictures up close and like being able to like really like, based off of how it's drawn, some of the strips are like quite long like this, so it will format it like this. But yeah, that's what I do for webtoons. Like I will find like finished ones that are online, or find like midway ones that have like availability to download based off of whatever website that you're on, and then I'll convert it so that I can read it on here instead of reading it on the web. So like I said, I use my Kobo primarily for that reason, for reading webtoons, reading mangas, reading graphic novels, not really for reading books. However, if I do want to read a book and annotate and draw on it, I can do that. And I primarily sideload almost all of my books in EPUB format so that I can go across between devices and whatever. So yeah, that's my current workflow for the Kobo. The downside of that is that those files are quite large. Like I'll give an example. So a finished webtoon that has like 150 chapters on it. This is a manhwa called Daytime Star, very popular, very big. This is 417 megabytes. So that's almost half a gig. And if you have 32 gigs, you can just imagine how fast this is gonna fill up. So I just thought I would put that out there. If you're getting a Kobo for reading webtoons and manga just like I am, you will need to kind of like finagle some things to kind of get them back and forth. So, or look into other options. Like I said, I'm looking into the books, because then I'll be able to just put a million books on there if I get like a 2 terabyte memory card or something like that, or even a 4 terabyte memory card, and I can then like transfer like hundreds of manhwas and hundreds of EPUBs and hundreds of books, whatever. So that's my solution to that problem. So yeah, final verdict: is the Kobo Libra Colour worth it? Who should buy it? It's great for manga, it's great for webtoons, it's great for comics, book readers. It's great for library users with the Overdrive integration, especially if you're not in the US. It's great for note takers, people who want to take notes, write little cutesy doodles and stuff like that. It's great for anyone who hates Kindle ads and also hates the Kindle DRM, super tight DRM, who might not like it. People who want text to speech, people who want accessibility features, people who are PDF heavy users, because it's pretty laggy using PDF on here. If you rely solely on like a cloud storage system, you might not enjoy using the Kobo's file system structure. Would I recommend it? I think so. I love it. I use mine on a regular basis. I think that it's a great device. If you're into graphic novels or you sideload your content, then it's a great device. It's one of the best options out there. Obviously, the storage is your biggest limitation, but for the most part, although it's like a lot of things that I have to do to get what I want on there is annoying and long-winded, it's still doable, and that's the most important part. Can I do it though? That's what I have to ask myself. So like, yeah, it's a workaround and I have to do all these a million steps, but can it be done? And it can. So overall, I can do pretty much anything that I want to do with my stuff on here. I just have to find alternative solutions, but you know, you got to work with what you've got, right? So are you considering the Kobo Libra Colour? Do you already have one? Let me know in the comments down below. If you found this video useful, if this video helped you make your decision, if you had just wanted to listen and learn about the Kobo because you're considering buying one, or maybe you're anti-Kobo and you wanted to hear about all the anti things and see if you've had shared frustrations, whatever the reason being for you reaching the end of this video, please go ahead and give it a big thumbs up. Subscribe if you've just found my channel. I make videos just like this all the time, giving you guys the ins and outs of the devices that I purchase, whether it's to do with books, whether it's to do with e-readers, whether it's to do with the iPad or like other reading devices. I even talked about the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold, using that as a reading device. So I'd like to talk about like different ways for you to access your books and access reading information. And then I'd like to talk about the tech behind it and how user-friendly it is. So you'll find a lot more intuitive videos similar to this on my channel. So if that's something that you enjoy listening to or enjoy learning about, then please go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and I will see you guys in another video very soon. Comment down below what you would like to learn about next, or if you have any questions about the Kobo or even the Kindle, and I can see if I can find out information or see if I can answer that for you. If I don't know the answer, I'll look it up and see if I can help you out. Let me know. So yeah, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in another video very, very soon.